All right, so I forgot to flush the heater core out whenever I was cleaning all this out, but I made this little contraption real quick. I got the garden hose coupled right there, and then it's gonna drain out into the pan. I'm just gonna turn it on real quick, and hopefully I don't make a mess. And hopefully that will flush it. We got a little leak right there, not bad. Hey, it's flushed, right? Sometimes you just gotta get a little creative with it, right? Welcome back to another episode of Import and Modify. This is the episode where we're going to start the SRT4 for the first time. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, and I just started looking things over just to make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's and make sure everything is good before we start everything. But got a jump start on things. Y'all saw that at the beginning of the episode. And while I was looking things over, I'm glad I did that, because I noticed that I don't have a plug right here. They had removed that plug because they had an aftermarket oil pressure gauge in the cabin of the donor car where this engine came from, and that would have sucked cranking it and having oil just shoot out everywhere, man. I forgot to tighten the exhaust flange on the exhaust. I took care of that, and just looking nuts and bolts and everything over, because you know, sometimes working on things, you don't tighten things all the way. You say, I'll get back to it, and you forget, and then you guys know. Just want to make sure that everything is good to go on that, and develop the list of things that we got to get done in order to get this thing started for the first time. Beginning of the episode, y'all saw me knock these out, so we're good on that. Heater core hoses, radiator fan connector, 3-bar map sensor, AC pulley delete, and tighten the exhaust flange. Y'all didn't see that, I didn't film that, just took care of it. And I had to order an O2 sensor. We still got to bleed the clutch, engine oil, coolant, check the fuel pump, trans oil, finish off the intake, battery tray, power steering fluid, and reinforce the intercooler. We don't have to do that on this episode, but I might attempt to do it. We'll see. And the biggest challenge is going to be the vacuum solenoids, because I took this out of the parts car, and it seems to be missing a couple little things, but I need to go through it and everything and figure out how to make this ugly spaghetti looking tanglement good, and I don't think that's possible. So if you guys have any solutions to that, or any aftermarket lines that y'all use, I started looking at stuff on the internet, and a couple like universal things came up, but I started looking for SRT specific examples, and I could not find any. So let me know on that, guys. I need a good solution on that. Or if you guys do have a new vacuum solenoid pack vacuum line set y'all want to sell me, or one in great shape, let me know, because I desperately need something. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna get this thing started, and I'm waiting on parts. I ordered all the stuff that I needed, and I'm waiting for the parts delivery guy to come in with my stuff, and then we'll get to knocking that out. I did notice that a couple of hose clamps on the power steering cooler, they're the original clamps, and I just don't trust them. So I'm going to cut those off and replace those clamps with some screw types, and make sure that that's sealed and it's not going to leak. And when those parts come in, we'll just start knocking things off the list, and then before you know it, we'll be able to start this thing for the first time. All right, so I didn't get to film much of me doing the vacuum solenoids, and that's because my SD card finally took a crap on me. After 3 years of using that thing, you know, it finally bit the dust, but I lost all that footage. But, you know, I'm going to talk about it briefly. And what I did was I just looked at the schematic that was on the old Google Internet, and I used that, and I just basically bought me some vacuum lines. And where the bigger fittings were at, like the wastegate and the turbo itself and stuff, I use larger lines, and then I use reducers to bring it down to the size it needs for the solenoids itself. I decided to locate it right here. Kind of tucks it, puts it out the way. The air filter and all that stuff from the intake will be right there. And this isn't done. I'm going to zip tie things up, and then I'm going to use some thermal tape and tape it up in the center area where it's going to be exposed to the engine heat the most, and that should preserve it, and it should be good. But we did get fluids and all that added. The only thing I need to add is coolant. I still got to go and get the plug off the other engine, but it actually requires this special tool to fit in that square. And that square, I thought it would be a 1/4 inch. It's not. So it's a special tool. I got to go see if I could find that so that I could take it off the other one and put it on this one. And once that's sealed up, the biggest thing I've been putting off is the fuel. And I just don't want to drain the tank, honestly. I want to put the battery in, right? I'm going to put the battery in. I'm going to pull the fuse or the relay for the fuel pump. That way nothing gets pushed up towards the fuel rail. So that'll allow me to see how much fuel is in that tank. And hopefully there's not a lot. The last time it was ran was 2019. So let's expect that fuel to be from 2019. I guess I'm getting around to the just saying I really don't want to mess with the fuel. I don't want to mess with the fuel tank. And if it's just got a little bit of fuel, I can get good fuel saturated in and crank it that way, as long as it's a little bit of fuel. But if it's a lot, I'm just going to drain it. But on the flip side of that, if it's just a little bit, I guess I'm probably going to have to end up draining that tank. But I want to see how much is in it. Just don't want to mess with it, man. I don't want to get full of nasty old fuel, man. It just sucks. All right. So got to get those things situated, and we'll get back to business, and we'll get this thing started. So once I get all that, I'll see y'all then. All right, so I removed the fuel pump relay. It's up there, and now we're gonna go ahead and check the level of fuel in here. Looks like these gauges have 163,000 miles on them. Half a tank. Half a tank of fuel. Okay, here we go. All right, work smarter, not harder, right? So the fuel itself is draining into that can. I took the line off of the rail, connected a hose right there, and basically I just shorted the relay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the electricity do its thing, and it saves me a lot of labor and time, and I don't have to get full of fuel. So this is good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and prime the engine of oil, and I don't have an air filter for this intake, so we're just gonna go ahead and try to run it without it. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal, so hopefully not. And also we need to help prime this power steering pump as well. I did turn the rack back and forth a couple times in hopes to get some air bubbles out, but I think cranking it over will help that air escape and allow me to top it off properly. I don't want a whiny pump, and we definitely need oil pressure when we first start this engine. So let's go ahead and do that. I do have the relay out, the spark plugs out, and also I disconnected the coil pack. So let's go ahead, turn this off and do it. Yes, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it did. Now it's towards the middle. So she's prime. All right, so this is bleeding itself out, but I'm gonna go ahead and prime it and see if I have any fuel leaks along the rail and the hose right there. And once I verify that's good, hey, we're gonna go ahead and crank this thing for the first time. So you can hear the fuel pump engage and the pressure building. Oh yeah. Let me check for leaks. Looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. This is dry. Give it one more prime. Then we're gonna go ahead and crank it. SRT4, first start. Adjust my seat. SRT4, first start, here we go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, I gotta get some air out of that fuel system, I bet. Dude, I'm nervous, and I'm excited and anxious. Okay. Come on, baby. I gotta check engine light, oil pressure light. Oh, that ain't good. Whoa. That's scary, dude. All right, I wanna see what kind of codes this thing is throwing. I find that, there it is. Engine temperature circuit high. Okay. O2 control circuit. O2 sensor, idle, control. Okay, let's clear all this. All right, we're cleared. All right, we got a first start. It's running. My foot's on the gas, but it's doing some funky stuff. Let's see. Engine coolant. Yes. Okay. No matter when I erase it. Yeah. Damn it. Make sure there's no leaks. It's a good time to check for leaks. All right, guys, this is not how I wanted this first start episode to go, but it is what it is, and we just got to pick up what we got and just move on and figure it out. So I did figure out a couple codes, and it was bad grounds I had. I had this post that I grounded these circuits on. This is not a grounded post, so I moved it over, verified that ground, it was good. I didn't have this grounded it, checked that ground, and then that took care of a couple codes, one with the throttle position sensor and another one with certain sensors reading less than 3 volts. Those are done. The persisting codes that I'm having is the aftercat O2 sensor and the coolant temperature sensor stuck high, and I think that's the reason that the fans come on. So hopefully a new sensor will fix that, and also when I cranked it for another time, once I did the grounds and everything, I wanted to see if everything was all right with it. I cranked it, and then the oil lights stayed on, as you can see here. One oil pressure. What's up with the oil pressure? Okay, that's not good. So as you can see, the oil light's on. So I don't know if that's the sensor or if it's mechanical. So next step is I'm going to have to take the spark plugs out, disable the fuel pump and everything, and crank it over and make sure that this thing is building oil pressure. Now, if it's building oil pressure, that confirms the sensor is bad, and that I'm praying that's the case. So hopefully that will get that done. So what I'm trying to say is, we're at a great stopping point. Y'all heard it run, and we gotta take the necessary steps, diagnose this car, and get it right. Just all that work, I don't want it to go south, and we got to be safe about it and take the right measures, and get this thing fixed right. So that's going to be the next episode. I'm going to get all the stuff that I need. I got it all written down, and we're going to go ahead and install it, and hopefully on that episode we can get this running right. So with that being said, I hope y'all still enjoyed the episode nonetheless. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all peace out, man.